so bent out of sorts that he went on this tirade on the radio.
About big government.
About big government. Can you imagine being so out of touch?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Adam, let's play this clip for everybody that's still hanging with us and just see if, and maybe if we've got people, we've got a pretty good bit of folks listening. So I want you to try to guess in the chat what this clip is about.
Talk about fear of a government that's too big. You want to talk about a fear of a government that can do whatever it wants to you at any time. You want to talk about that kind of stuff? Now is the time to start talking about it, because now it is the time for us to understand they are willing to do this. So you better get in line or they're going to get you. That's what they're telling you. Either get in line or we are going to come after you. Don't you dare have a differing opinion. Don't you dare have a differing point of view. Don't you dare speak out against this administration, because...
Yeah, so
they're gonna get you. You better watch out.
You might, you know, some things that might come up would be, oh, I wonder if he's talking about the fact that a Huntsville cop murdered a guy and the whole department is still standing beside him and saying he didn't do anything wrong. He was convicted of murder. Huntsville Police Department says he didn't do anything wrong. Huntsville Mayor says he didn't do anything wrong. Maybe that's what he's talking about, or perhaps the fact that people are locked in cages for smoking dope. Maybe he's talking about the surveillance that left-wing groups have gotten for the past half century from organizations like the CIA and the FBI. Maybe he's talking about Fred Hampton being murdered by the Chicago police.
The NSA spying on every communication you put online, from Facebook to email to text messages.
But no, he is talking about here. Dale is talking about when he's saying they're gonna get you. Quote, they're gonna get you. If you want to talk about big government, he's talking about the White House Twitter account.
Twitter.com.
On Twitter.com, quote tweeting opponents of student loan forgiveness with the publicly available information about how much PPP loans they had forgiven. That's what he's talking about.
The outlandish scare tactics and outrage that he has over some tweets. Some tweets that aren't even like mean-spirited, you know, they're not even particularly nasty as far as the ones I've seen. They're just sharing the information, like, oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, here's the PPP loans she had that were forgiven.
It's
not Marjorie Taylor Greene is a dumb motherfucker. That's a true statement too, but they didn't write that.
Right. It's literally the White House Twitter account is literally just quote tweeting people critiquing student loan forgiveness with the amount of money that they had forgiven from the PPP. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. And that series of tweets from the White House Twitter account got Dale so bent out of sorts that he went on this tirade on the radio.
About big government.
About big government. Can you imagine being so out of touch? And so, like, that's insane.
It's like I was saying before we went on the air. I mean, think about how many of our friends, how many of our listeners have been tear gassed by big government. And we're supposed to be concerned about some tweets? Some tweets. Little pictures on a website, on a computer screen. That's
the big government.
That's them getting you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big government that
I mean,
conservatives are worried about.
Edward Snowden can't go home.
Right.
Julian Assange can't go home. He's probably going to rot and die in a prison. But we're supposed to be worried about a tweet.
Yeah.
So much of what these folks talk about in their political philosophy revolves around projection. And I saw some people in the chat were talking about that earlier as well. Projection. I mean, because Dale Jackson's the exact type of person who's going to say that, oh, you know, liberal media types, they're obsessed with Twitter. They don't know what the real world, quote unquote, is like outside of their Twitter bubble.
He's going to say they're easily offended.
Right.
That they're snowflakes.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But these mild tweets from the White House Twitter account are proof positive, A, that we have big government, and B, that they're going to come get you if you oppose them.
Yeah. Like, oh no, if you oppose the government, then one of their political Twitter accounts might quote tweet you. Oh,
Right.
oh no.
So, you know, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene get a quote tweet. People like Fred Hampton get murdered. That's the difference. People like Martin Luther King Jr. get assassinated. People like Ted Cruz get a tweet. So that's the disparity, and of course that's why it's always fascinating, especially lately with all the controversy around the FBI and this raid of Donald Trump, to see some of the right wingers talking about the FBI and griping about the FBI when the FBI has from the very beginning of its existence monitored, surveilled, infiltrated, sabotaged every social movement to ever exist in this country, responsible for people's deaths, responsible for ruining people's lives, ruining their families' lives. That's, you know, there's a pretty big disparity. I mean, hell, go back to January 6th. You really think Black Lives Matter protesters would have been allowed that close?
No.
You think they would get the same response? It's
Yeah.
just they live really in a different reality than we live in.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.